Oh, Preecy, points to share this afternoon, a goalless draw here at Kings Lynn Town. A valuable point on the road?
Yeah, you've got to say that. Coming to Kings Lynn, who have been going really well. A very tough place to come here and get anything. Earlier on, they beat Kinney 4-0 here. So, it's always going to be tough, difficult conditions, wind, pitch. And you're going to have to dig in at times, be brave, put your bodies on the line, be organised. And we did all that, and they probably edged the first half. We probably edged the second half. We probably had the better chances. Elo's in the first half, the head of the post, and then Cal's late on where he's hit it wide. But I'm so pleased with the desire and commitment of the players, because that was a tough ask today. They had to stick at it, and they had to dig in, and they had to do the ugly things well. And we changed shape in the start of the game, then we changed shape within the game. So they have to take a lot on board, but credit to them. They just keep working and trying for me and for the football club. And I've just said to them, thanks for all the effort that you put in for us, because they put themselves on the line for me and the football club.
I guess one of the bigger positives from today as well is to come to Kings Lynn, a tough place to come, and to restrict them to so little chances, because Matty had very little today. I think it was one really decent save from Hamami.
Yeah, I think that was in late middle of the second half, or just late into the second half. I think that's the only save he's had to make. He's had a few crosses to come and take, but we defended really well. We've been really strong in the individual battles. We've picked up well in the box. We've got blocks in when we've needed to. We've cleared our lines well. It takes a lot to keep them away from your goal and not let them have many or any chances, because they've got some really good individual players who can really hurt you. Really pleased to get the point. Obviously, when you're playing teams around you, they're big games, and you don't want to be losing them. It's sort of as it was. A couple of teams have won, most teams have drawn. So, with 4 to go, we're still in a good position.
In terms of the team today, obviously Mark Ellis has come straight back in. You've changed the system a little bit slightly. Warren's gone into midfield, and in terms of changes during the game, obviously 2 made, and I guess nice to have a few more options on the bench to have players fresh.
Yeah, it is. We are pretty stretched. That's probably what we've got at the minute with Milan, and still Harvey needs the all clear. So you are on tenterhooks a little bit, because we are a little bit thin with Christie going back and Dubin going back. It has left us a little bit thin on the ground, but we have got the quality to change it if we needed to. Difficult game to change it in with the sort of players that we had on the bench. They're probably game changers who are going to come in and probably win the game. But on the surface, like it was today, it probably was more for people who were going to probably dig in and do the ugly side and win the seconds. And we were umming and ahhing whether to change it and put them in. But I think it would have been a really difficult one for 1 or 2 to come on. But yeah, we got options to change the way that we play, and that's going to be important going into these next 4 games. Like
you say, 4 games to go, 2 more left at home, and one that on the horizon next weekend against Marine, a really tough test in the prospect there.
Yeah, look, they've had an unbelievable run of late. They were struggling. Probably halfway through the season. They're looking like they were in for a relegation battle, but they've got themselves well clear of that, and I'm sure they're enjoying playing without that pressure, and credit to them for digging in and coming through that, because it's difficult once you've been down there. It takes a lot of character, and they've got a really good manager who knows this league, and someone who's calm, when the pressure was on, and fair play to them. And look, we've had 2 really tough games against them already this season. At home, we managed to beat them in the cup, but away from home, they've run all over us and beat us deservedly so. So we know that that'll be a really, really difficult game. But they all are. Tell me an easy game in this league. There ain't one. They're all really difficult. So every point you get is a good point, and especially at this point in the season when you're in the position that we're in.
And just finally from me, a word for the travelling supporters who, again, were in fine voice this afternoon. A long way to come down south, and as well as that, with the fans, we're going to need as many as we can to pack the park next weekend against Marine, aren't we?
Yeah, look, brilliant. Come down here. It's a long trip, and I just can't thank them enough for that commitment to travel all the way down here on a Saturday when it's a nice day like this, to decide to come down to King's Lynn and support the teams. It's so appreciated, and the fans at home have been magnificent, especially in recent weeks. They really know that we need them to push us and keep pushing us and keep lifting us when we need them. The crowds have gone up, the noise level's gone up, and we'll need that again. We've only got 2 home games left. It's been great at home. We need to keep that going, and I'm sure everybody's looking forward to Saturday. We'll rest up. The lads will be tired. We travelled down on the day again. So again, I go back to our start with credit to the lads. They've had to travel 4.5, 5 hours today, get off a coach and play a game of football at this sort of level. Against a full-time team, and we finished the game as strong as what they did, and we have to take a lot of heart from that and look forward to Saturday against Marine.